Well, what's going on, all my myths, monsters, and mullets maniacs, and welcome back to the show. Tonight we've got a good one. Timothy Wayne Williams. You've probably heard him before. He's the guy with the hidden Bigfoot paintings. Got his book right here. He comes on the show to talk about not only his book, but he had some paranormal encounters that he shared with us. So if you'd like to purchase one of his books, check out the links below, and let's get on with the show.
It looked like a dog, you know. They call it like the dog man or something. I mean, this thing was built. I mean, this thing was rugged. I mean, it's something I wouldn't want to tangle with it, you know.
One night, I'm sitting there and I had a dead body in my bed.
Yes, that's when I started hearing the doors opening and closing and then walking through the house.
And I look over my shoulder to, say, okay, and I look over my shoulder and he's gone. And we're all like, where the hell did this guy go?
And welcome back to Myths, Monsters, and Mullets. Today on the show, Timothy Wayne Williams. How are you today?
I am good. How are you? You doing
Well,
good?
I'm struggling. I'm struggling because I have your book right here.
Yes, good man, good man. Everyone should.
They should. They should. It's it's very interesting because I don't want to cheat. I don't want to look in the back of the book for the answers.
Good.
So I'm looking at these and I'm like, okay, is there like 5 in this picture or is there just one? Or
See, now I did that on purpose to
I
make
know.
the book more enjoyable because, the publisher was like, well, you should tell the people how many to look for. I'm like, no, it could be one, but they may spend, 3 hours looking for, more than that one, and they're getting more fun, out of
That's right.
it. So, yeah.
That's right. So I guess we should do a little introduction here.
Cool.
You do more than just a book.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell my fans, and hopefully your fans too, a little bit about yourself and how we got to your Bigfoot expedition book.
Sure. Well, I'm Timothy Wayne Williams. I do the 3 names, not because I'm pretentious, but Tim Williams is possibly the most forgettable name on the face of the earth. So I did the serial killer thing, and that's the Timothy Wayne. So anyway, that I always want to explain that because some people are like, "Man, that's really pretentious," and it's like, not really. But anyway, I'm an oil painter in Indianapolis. Go Hoosiers! And I was a fine artist for a long time, and I had modest success, And then one day I was listening to a podcast about Bigfoot, which is one of my favorite subjects, really, everything paranormal I'm totally into. And I was doing this landscape and I thought, wouldn't it be funny to hide a Bigfoot in the background, just for my own amusement. And so I did that. And I sold, I don't know, a dozen, maybe more paintings that had a hidden Bigfoot in it. I never told anybody. The people who bought the paintings had no idea. Like I do some of the big art shows and, I never told anyone. And then one day I was having a really slow art show. It was Penrod, as a matter of fact, in Indianapolis. And just nobody was staying in my booth, and I was getting really irritated. So I started telling people when they came in, like, hey, check this painting out here. There's a hidden Bigfoot. Can you find it? And before long, I had a ton of people, staring at that painting and then looking at the rest. And people really were digging it. So when I got home, I was like, I wonder if there's any Facebook groups, about Bigfoot. And then I looked and there's a million of them, So I joined some of those groups, and then eventually I started like posting some of my art, just going, hey, what do you guys think of this? There's a hidden Bigfoot in it. And it blew up. Like one of my first paintings, among a few groups got like 1,000 likes, and tons of comments and everything. And I'm like, okay, this might be a good way to go. And so I started doing it, and it blew up. It really, tons of people were into it, and I Doug Highcheck of all people, um, you know who Doug is, right? Used
Yeah,
to
yeah,
produce
I do.
Monster Quest, great guy. Doug liked my art, and I had talked to him for a while, and we talked about doing something, and he ended up publishing two of my calendars. And then I decided that, I was going to not do calendars anymore because, the calendars have a shelf life. After a while, nobody wants that calendar. It's obsolete. So I found another publisher who was very interested in doing, a book. I approached him with a book idea, and they were like, "This is a cool idea. We don't think anyone's really done, something quite like this." I'm not saying it's some genius idea. I'm not reinventing the wheel. This is, I've taken Where's Waldo, but made it way cooler. And the publisher was totally down with it, and it became one of the best selling books on um, through that publisher. And matter of fact, it was number one on Amazon in the oil painting category for a couple days, uh, which I was kind of
That's
excited
awesome,
about.
actually. I mean, because Amazon's huge, so to be
Yeah.
number
Oh, yeah.
one,
I mean, it was only in the oil painting category, which I guess there's not a ton of books in oil painting, but I mean, still, there's enough. And to be, number one for a while, I was over the moon. So yeah, it got a bunch of 5-star reviews and lots of good reviews. So that's kind of where that went. And I don't do fine art shows anymore. I do just paranormal and Bigfoot related shows. Can you hear the dogs? Is that a problem?
no, it's
Can you hear?
fine. I mean,
Okay.
the people that listen to my show, a lot of them have dogs too, so they're probably thinking, "Hey, these are
Could
normal
be their
people."
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm expecting a package, so that's probably what it is. But anyway, yeah, so now I do paranormal shows, and I've met some super famous people who I became kind of into my art. And matter of fact, the last one that I thought was so cool was I did Crypticon in Kentucky, and Giorgio Tsoukalos was there, and he stopped in his tracks walking by my booth and wanted to check it out. And he was super cool. I couldn't believe it. And he was like, "I want to
Yeah,
follow you."
he's one of those people that I would like to meet. I haven't met him yet.
He had a bodyguard, and I thought, okay, he's going to be an idiot. No, he couldn't have been nicer. And I gave him a book, and he was thrilled, and he gave me a hug, and he gave me this really cool autographed picture. It's hanging up over there. And so, yeah, so I've made all these cool friends. Daniel Lee Barnett wrote the foreword to the book, and he's this kid out of the UK who's blowing up. He's got, I think he's got a Netflix documentary coming out here soon that he did with some of the people from Expedition Bigfoot and Finding Bigfoot. So anyway, it's really cool just how my life has evolved from just doing this one little thing, hiding Bigfoot in a painting. It's absolutely crazy for me. And I quit my day job of 32 years where I was a graphic artist. And
Congratulations.
oh yeah, believe me, I hated that job for all 32 years. So yeah, super thrilled to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
So
been
you said
blessed.
earlier, you said earlier, you hid these Bigfoot and these paintings, and then you sold them. And
Oh,
did anybody ever contact you and say, "Hey, what's this
yes,
thing in my painting?"
yes. I had two people come back to me and go, "Oh my God, I just heard about you, and someone was talking about you and said that he hides Bigfoot in his paintings," and the people were like, "I think I own a painting by him." And they went and looked, and they couldn't find it. The one person I talked to could not find it, and they called me. They found my old business card and called me up, and they were all like, "Is there a Bigfoot in my painting?" I had to like research it because I couldn't remember, you know. And I found out there was, and so then I found an old picture and I circled it and I emailed them, the solution for it. So yeah, they were super happy about it.
That
So
is
they
so
thought it was
awesome.
really cool.
So you do other art other than Bigfoot though.
Yes, I do. Yeah. I still, sometimes I get bored with doing, landscapes all the time, and um, I'll do florals. I'll do really anything. I'll paint anything that I am feeling that day. Sometimes, I'll do other paranormal stuff. I've done tons of UFOs. I've done tons of ghost stuff like that. Um, but
I,
yeah,
I
I,
like
I
I like your like the ones next to the ocean, or like the ships and stuff.
yeah, that's another huge one. I love like seascapes. Love tall ships. Love doing the old tall ships. Love that stuff. So yeah, that's one of my favorites. Matter of fact, I think I might start a tall ship tomorrow. I'm thinking
Oh,
about it.
nice. So how many paintings do you do like a year?
Oh geez.
Or we
I
can break
couldn't
that
even
down maybe a
tell you.
week.
I could maybe tell you a week, probably about 5 or 6. It
Oh, really?
depends on really like what size I do. Like I've got some really small ones like this size that, I can do one of these in a couple hours. Um, but then, like my average size is like 16 by 20, and that usually takes about a day, day and a half. And that's working like nonstop from like I'll get up, when the wife gets up, sometimes like 6:30 or so, and sometimes I'll paint till 6:30. So
Oh,
it,
wow.
it it's really the only way to make money with what I'm doing, I just have to keep painting because I might do a painting and then post it and no one will be interested in it. So it's like, okay, well, I need to come up with something else right away so I can make some money. And so yeah, I'm like a shark that has to keep swimming, I tell people, you
Right.
know.
So I tried my hand at doing what you do,
Mm,
and I don't know how good this is, but I don't know if you can find the Bigfoot in my painting.
you're
Um,
gonna have to give me a hint, man. I don't know. That's great. That's great.
and I'm not sure why it takes you so long, because that took me literally like 7
I
seconds.
know. I'm a slacker. So
No, my dad actually did a lot of painting when I was growing up, and I
that's
tried my
great.
hand at it. I really don't have the patience for it. Like
That
I
is
want to
one
do
thing
something and get it done.
yeah. I mean, I will say this. I was kind of that way too in the beginning, but I've developed a style I say it's kind of in between impressionism and realism. And I can paint wet on wet, wet into wet. Um, I've developed kind of a cool style that I can do a painting in a day, and I don't have to wait for those layers to dry. And so, I can keep working on it. I don't have to wait. So that
The,
helps me too.
the wet on wet style is what like Bob Ross used. Was he
Yeah,
any kind of
kind of. Yeah.
influence into what you do?
hmm hmm Yeah. Yeah. Bob had, I def, that's one of the things people have said that I paint like him, and I don't really think I do. Um, I don't hardly ever use a palette knife. There's a lot of differences. It's like I think I put a little more detail into my stuff. But he was a genius. Don't get me wrong. I think the guy was great.
Well,
But
and he had a 30-minute time limit, like,
right,
so
yeah,
he had to, find the easiest, fastest ways to do that
yeah,
stuff. So
yeah,
yeah, being fellow Hoosier,
yeah,
and Bob Ross is also from Indiana. So
yeah. Muncie, about 40 minutes from here. Yeah.
yeah, I'm just out. I'm in Portland, Indiana. So
Oh, no
just
idea where that is.
um, I'm halfway in between Richmond and Fort Wayne.
Oh, okay. You're way up north. Okay, okay,
Yeah, yeah.
cool.
But I lost my train of thought there for a second. I had something I was going to ask you. This will get edited. It'll be fine. Um, so I met you up at the Ohio Bigfoot Jamboree last year,
Yeah.
and I had heard you on different podcasts and stuff. And we were walking by, and I'm like, oh, that's that guy. And I brought my wife in there and was showing her your paintings and stuff. And that's where I got my copy of your Bigfoot expedition.
Yes, and God bless you for it.
And I think you lied to me, because the sign said it was going to be the worst autograph you've ever seen, or something like that.
Yeah, worst handwriting.
Or yeah, and I can read that just fine.
I'm shocked.
Yeah,
I'm getting better, I guess.
Yeah. We were talking offline, and I didn't realize that you're a funny dude too. You do some writing, right?
I have messed around with some humor writing. Yeah. And I've had some people say, try stand up, but I can't do it. I don't have the delivery for it. Anytime someone's like, be funny, I can't do it like that, but I can write it down, and I've had some, stuff I put on Facebook, and people have really got a kick out of it. So,
Yeah. Let me pull that up real quick here, because I have some things here on my phone. Let me see. Gotta scroll back here. I like this one. It's kind of like the I don't know, like the Chuck Norris type things. Timothy Wayne Williams.
Oh, what those are? Those are my taglines.
Your taglines?
Yeah. I noticed some other artists doing this when they'll put their name, and then the guy who I saw had it, his was like American Impressionism, this guy. And I was all like, I want a tagline. And so actually I do have a legitimate tagline, and it's Timothy Wayne Williams, American painter of dreams and the beautiful unknown,
and that's a lot classier than what I'm about to read.
Right. And these were ones I kicked around. These were the ones that I rejected.
And I like the first one. Timothy Wayne Williams. Sure, he's drunk. No one paints like this sober.
That's right. While I'm drinking wine.
Well, Next we have Timothy Wayne Williams. He likes reenacting Civil War battles where no actual battles took place, like at an Arby's.
Damn right. Damn right.
I could see you doing that, just walking in and in a Civil War uniform, and
absolutely.
We could do that. We could do that if you're going. Are you going back to Ada next year?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, that would be funny. If we should do that. We could find an Arby's and
just go in there and recreate a Civil War battle.
Right.
That'd be great.
Next we have Timothy Wayne Williams. Keeps showing his wiener on the internet. His dogs, you perv.
I do show my wieners a lot.
Timothy Wayne Williams. Confused why Cupcake Wars was never on the military channel.
I don't know why. Why would that not be on the military channel? It makes no sense to me.
Timothy Wayne Williams. Don't take him to a Toys R Us. Worse than a toddler without a nap.
That's right. It's a good thing they closed, because
he was the reason they closed.
It might have been.
Timothy Wayne Williams gives you World War II history against your will.
Absolutely, I will. Yeah, anytime.
So okay, after I got one more. Timothy Wayne Williams expects to be praised when he behaves in Costco.
That's right. If I don't throw a fit in the alcohol section, then that's a good day. I think that's a win for everyone.
So, you're a World War II buff?
Oh yeah. There was a time there where I actually thought about going back to school and becoming like a historian of some sort, but I was all like, I like this art thing better. But I tell people I read World War II stuff for fun. I'll read these big books and stuff. So
I like watching the documentaries and stuff, but I don't have any World War II books.
I had a lady who bought a painting from me and gave me a whole box of like Time Life World War II books, the whole complete set. It's probably valuable, actually. And she gave me this whole set, and I reread each one 2 or 3 times. It was just awesome.
That's dedication to your passion.
I just find it interesting for some reason.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I am with the paranormal and podcast. That's all I do. I don't know. I don't remember the last time I listened to music on my radio. It's all podcasts now.
Yeah, I listen to a lot of audiobooks now too.
I tried that for a while, but a lot of times I'm listening while I'm at work, and if it's an audiobook and you miss something, like the book doesn't make sense.
Oh yeah. No, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it was like, well, now I got to go find my phone and rewind that because Joe Blow over here come over and talk to me, and now I missed part of the book.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I have a special guest for this interview, and I'd like to bring her in. It's my beautiful wife, Becca. Becca, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Everybody, this is my wife, Becca. She was voted Cougar of the Decade. It was a landslide, actually. She got like 78% of the vote.
That's amazing.
Yeah, the biggest shock.
I could see that. I've met her.
Right. The biggest shock was second and third place was decided by one vote. Betty White came in second, just beating out Angelina Jolie. So,
oh man,
yeah. That was a scientific poll taken in my house by me.
Yeah. That's great.
So Becca has agreed to come in and read Timothy Wayne Williams' top 10 list of things we're going to find out about Bigfoot when he's finally proven to be true. Maybe.
Are you ready?
We're ready.
Okay. Number 1, wood knocks. Wood knocks have long been thought to be sort of communication technique used among the Bigfoot species. This is in fact false. Wood knocks are actually songs written by the Bigfoot. They are just really shitty musicians. There once was a Bigfoot that made an 8-knock little ditty. He's considered the Mozart of the species.
That's right.
Oh, that's great. I love it. So what's number 2?
Number 2 is their terrible odor. There have been lots of theories on this one. Pheromones have long been researchers' best guess. The fact of the matter is pretty simple, actually. They all loved Taco Tuesdays so much that they decided to have Mexican food for every meal. On a side note, there is a heated debate among the Sasquatch as to eating an actual Mexican. Is that Mexican food or not?
I mean, I literally had this debate with a guy I used to work with. Is that Mexican food?
Absolutely it is. The problem is, if he has Chinese food, he's just going to be hungry in an hour.
If he's a Chinese person. Well, maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
So number 3.
Number 3, origins. We will find out Sasquatch was actually created in the genetics lab of the plaster of Paris manufacturers. This is all an elaborate scheme cooked up by the Big Plaster to sell more casting products.
Big Plaster, man, you can't fight Big Plaster.
They're worse than Big Pharma. Really, they are.
Oh, yeah, big time.
I mean, it's probably their biggest customer or biggest competitor is Big Oil.
yeah. It's Big Oil, Big Plaster, Big Pharma. I think it's how.
Right. What? I think we're on number 4. This is the time in the show where most people would have an ad break for their sponsors. I don't have any sponsors. So if you'd like to support the show, you can do it a couple ways. One, you can go over to TikTok, subscribe to my channel, and you'll get some perks over there, such as early access to all the episodes before they come out, got some fun little stickers we use during the chat and a shout out before the next show. The other way you can do it is by buying me a coffee. Go over to buymeacoffee.com. Look for Myths, Monsters, and Mullets. You can make a small donation there. Eventually, there will be upgrades to that, where you'll get the same perks as you do on TikTok. Thank you for your support.
Yep, number 4. Bigfoot love to play practical jokes. One of their favorite practical jokes is to shit in the campers' picnic baskets while they're sleeping. They call it pulling a bad yogi.
Okay.
Okay, next time I go camping, I'm pulling a bad yogi.
Oh, it's bad yogi. Do people even use picnic baskets anymore? That's the problem. I don't know.
It's a cooler now. I'll just do it in a cooler. It's fine.
Cooler. Yeah, same thing. It's the modern picnic basket. Yeah.
Number 5.
I'm having a hard time getting through these without laughing.
No, that's fine. Go ahead and laugh.
That's a good thing.
Number 5 is Coldplay. They effing love Coldplay. Strangely, though, they can't stand Gwyneth Paltrow. In fact, Peter, there was much rejoicing when her and Chris Martin split up.
It's true. That's absolutely 100% true.
Damn Coldplay. Number 6.
Number 6 is appearance. Sasquatch have regular meetings to discuss the latest techniques in making one's self more blurry.
That's right. Got to get more blurry.
Right. It's like, Fred, that last picture that was taken of you just wasn't quite
absolutely
blurry
clear,
enough.
dude. Yeah.
You got to work on that. That's a rookie mistake. Oh, I think we're on 7.
Number 7, rock throwing. Rock throwing is not a threatening action taken to ward away intruders. It's actually the most highly regarded sport of their kind. There is an elaborate point system for nailing things with rocks. For instance, knocking a marshmallow off a Girl Scout's roasting stick, 10 points. Jeff Meldrum, upside the head, 50 points. If you somehow, someway are able to beam Gwyneth Paltrow, game over, you win. It's like catching the snitch. You will be celebrated for years.
That's right. That's right.
It's the Harry Potter of the Bigfoot world.
I've ran into Jeff Meldrum 2 or 3 times, and each time I've wanted to show him that, and I've chickened out. And I've been like,
oh, I absolutely would. I don't know. It'd be freaking hilarious. All right, I think we're on 8 now.
Number 8, the Patterson Gimlin film. The Sasquatch in the film is not a female. It's a male named Carl that is that has let his upper body workouts slide a bit. He has roundly been made fun of by other Sasquatch for years for not being blurry enough and having a nice rack.
Yeah, that's true. Carl has a good rack.
Oh yeah, Carl's winning the swimsuit competition every year.
Yeah.
Number 9.
Number 9, future plans. Bigfoot often talk of maybe shaving themselves down and joining the human society. Their biggest concern is overwhelming all the great clips in the Pacific Northwest.
I mean, that could happen. I mean, think about it.
Right. But you know what it could help the bedding industry because they don't use horsehair anymore.
Yeah.
And if they need a good beautician, they can go see my daughter. And plug my daughter right there.
There we go. Nice.
And I'll even put a link to her in the description of this. If you need your hair did and you're around Vandalia, Ohio, I can hook you up. Number 10.
Number 10, claiming kills. Hunters have long been annoyed by having their kills claimed by Sasquatch before they can track the blood trail to them. This is not one of their practical jokes. It's just them being dicks.
Yeah, they'll do that. They're dicks sometimes. A lot of people don't realize that. It's true.
All those times tracking down blood trails, and it was Bigfoot the entire time.
Just being a dick.
Oh, that was awesome. Becca, Cougar of the Decade, I appreciate you coming on the show, and I love you.
Thank you, Becca.
I love you. Thank you, Tim.
My beautiful wife finally came
She's great.
off the couch and said, I will pick up a microphone. Love it.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So,
I didn't
yeah.
have to wear a mullet for this one.
Well, if you ever turn on the camera, we'll give you a mullet.
I'm good.
I
Thank you.
damn near have a mullet, actually. I'm close.
Yeah. I kind of feel like maybe you were a cougar hunter at one time.
Me? A cougar hunter?
Well,
I
yeah,
don't know.
you got the haircut for it.
Well, yeah, maybe. Maybe.
If you ever come out of retirement and feeling a little rusty, just shoot me a message. I can get you back into shape.
Yeah, show me how to cougar hunt. Oh,
That's
like
right.
That. I like that.
All right. Well, we've been doing this for like 30 minutes and we have not talked anything paranormal, which is what everybody comes to my show for.
Yeah,
and
my bad.
I have heard a couple of your paranormal encounters.
Mhm.
Really interested in the guy that showed up at your jam session or whatever it was.
Yeah, so back when I was in high school, I had this band, I had like this hard rock band, and we had saved a bunch of money and decided to rent out this. It's hard to explain what this is. It was just kind of like a big barn that people rented out just for this kind of thing to have like shows. We were going to put on this big show. And we rented a bunch of gear and everything for it. It's a big, big deal for us. But there was nothing to this building. It was just like this big building with a stage, and I think there was an area that was like a bar / snack bar, depending on what was going on in there. And there were two big garage doors for load in and load out. And then there was one other door that was just the in and out door that, customers would come in and out. Well, we were there setting up late one night. It was the night before we were going to have this big show. And we had got all done setting up, and we were all standing around the mixing board, basically saying goodbye to each other and, hey, I'll see you tomorrow. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, we hear this cackling, loud laugh. And I mean, totally startled everybody. And we look up, and there is this short black man sitting on one of our PA speakers, just sitting on there, just laughing his head off like he's heard the funniest thing ever. And we're all looking at each other like, who is this guy? How'd he get in? And what is he laughing about? And this is really creepy, And everyone kind of pushes me forward to go, go talk to this guy, find out what his deal is. So I went up there, basically chased the guy out, and I walk up and I'm like, hey man, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh man, hey, I got something for you. You're gonna love this. You're gonna love this. And I'm like really worried about what he's gonna try to give me or whatever. He reaches behind his back. This was straight out of like a cartoon or something. I still don't know how he did this. He reached behind his back and pulled out a stack of Polaroids between his two fingers like this. It's like, I don't even know how one does that. Put your hand behind your back and grab a stack of Polaroids this big.
So
And
were they like sitting there on the speaker or whatever?
That's the thing. I don't know. I don't know how he grabbed it. He just reached behind his back and suddenly came up with a stack of Polaroids. And he's like, I can hook you up with this. I can get you some of this. And he's like showing me these Polaroids, and they are the most pornographic stuff I've ever seen. Really graphic. And I'm like, oh, okay, this guy's like a pimp. So I'm like, okay, dude, I'm absolutely not interested, And he's like, okay, no problem. I get you anything, though. And he kept saying, I can get you whatever you want. And I'm like, okay, is he talking drugs or is he talking, and I kept just, nah, And then he got real serious and he like looked me in the eyes and he was like, I can get you anything. What do you need? You know? And that freaked me out big time when he suddenly got like real serious and looked me in the eyes like that. And about that time, one of the guitarists wanders up and he, you know, of course he's going through the Polaroids. I'm like, dude, you know, and I'm like, no, I'm absolutely not interested. And I grab the guitarist and we walk away. And I didn't walk far at all. We're talking steps away. And I go back to the soundboard and we all kind of huddle. And you know how you do that thing where before you talk about someone, you kind of look over your shoulder and make sure they're not listening, you know? Everyone was like, what do you want? What do you want? You know? And I look over my shoulder to, you know, say, okay, well, and I look over my shoulder and he's gone. And we're all like, where the hell did this guy go? And we're looking around like, I mean, there's nothing to this building. Okay. There's like nowhere to hide really. And like the only place I think he could have hid was behind the bar or under my drum riser. And we looked both those places. And the guy was not there. He didn't open the garage doors to leave. We had already shut and locked the garage doors. And the only way he could have got out is the front door, which he would have had to walk by us to get to the front door. This guy absolutely appeared and disappeared, like without us ever seeing how he came or went.
Oh my God.
Totally freaked us out. And the weird thing was, another weird thing was years later, I'm talking to my sister about it. My sister was there. She actually was married to one of the guitar players. And I'm like, remember that creepy guy? She had no recollection of this at all. Neither did my brother-in-law, who was in the band. And I talked to two other guys who were in the band. No clue. They had no recollection at all of it. It was just 2 weeks ago. One of my best friends was kind of our roadie, and I was talking to him about it. And I was like, you remember that, right? And thank God he remembered it. He was like, oh, yeah, we talked about that for months. He's like, I don't know why no one else remembers that. So I thought that was really bizarre.
It kind of sounds like Robert Johnson.
Yes. Yeah, I know. People have said that. They're like, that was your crossroads moment. You
Yeah.
know? And the more I've thought about it over the years, it's like it kind of was, because out of all of us guys in the band, I was the dirt poorest. And I wanted to be a rock star so bad. It wasn't even funny. I would have done anything. Oh, well, almost anything. And my whole world revolved around that. And I could see why I would be approached, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know.
And for the people that are watching, if you don't know Robert Johnson, he was a musician that
Famous
supposedly sold his soul to the devil that he met at a crossroads.
At the crossroads, yeah.
To become the best blues guitarist. I think he was a blues guitarist, wasn't he?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. He wanted to become the best blues guitarist, ever. So he sold his soul to the devil. That's the story. And I mean, Robert Johnson's a real person and awesome musician. So whether there's truth to the story or not, who knows? Because I know he passed away a while back, but
oh yeah.
But yeah, that dude, that's freaky.
Yeah.
What did the guy look like? I mean, you said just the.
Yeah. Do you remember the movie The Shining?
Yeah.
And do you remember Scatman Crothers? You might be a little too young to know who he was. He was the groundskeeper. He was.
What was his name?
Scatman.
I know
Scatman
in the movie.
Crothers.
In the movie, I forget what his name
I don't know
was.
what it was in the movie at all.
But he was the one that showed the little boy about The Shining.
Yeah, it was him. Okay. He looked like that guy.
Really?
He was about that age, about that size, looked a lot like that guy.
Oh, wow. That's freaky, dude. That is freaky.
Holy cow. Weird. It was weird. It stuck with me for a long, long time. Wondered what that was
Absolutely.
all about.
So you have any other paranormal encounters?
I have what I think is an angelic encounter. It's kind of like the yin yang of stories here, but yeah, back when my kids were real little, um, I think my wife wasn't working at the time, and we were really hurting for money, and our toilet broke. And we had enough money to buy a new toilet, but no way like to have a plumber put it in or anything. And I was like, how hard could it be? I'll take the old one out and I'll see how it was put in. This will be easy. So I took the old one out, tried to put the new one in, and it just would not go in right. The seal wasn't working right, and it just was a complete disaster.
So
And
it was like the new flange with the old style piping.
well, I found out that it needed something to uh, bring the wax seal up higher.
Okay.
Okay. Well, anyhow, I couldn't figure this out for the longest time. And I even had, matter of fact, it was that same friend of mine who remembered the story. He used to work with his dad, who was a plumber. And so he knew a lot about plumbing. And he came over and looked at it and he was baffled. He was like, I have no idea what the problem is here. And so I kept going to hardware stores and finding like their plumbing experts and describing the problem. And they were absolutely no help. I bet I went to 4 different places and talked to 4 different people. No clue. And I was getting really depressed about this. And the family, I mean, it had been 2 days, I think, without a toilet. And they were all like, we are getting really sick of going in a bucket here. We need to get this fixed. And I was really stressed. And I felt like I was letting the family down, And it's like, I should know how to do this. I'm the dad. I should be able to figure this out. And I was just, the longer it went on, just the more depressed I was getting. Then one day after messing with it for a while, I was like, I'm just going to go to another hardware store and just see what they say. I don't know, maybe something will jump out at me. So I'm at this hardware store, walking down the aisles, and just dejected, just totally bummed. And there's a guy, I don't know, 10, 15 feet away, and he goes, hey, what are you working on? And I look over, and this guy, he was younger than me. He looked maybe a little homeless, possibly. And he just looked like one of those people, and he kind of talked like one of those people who just wanted to talk, you know? He just was lonely and wanted to talk. And normally I'm all about that. I'm pretty, good that way, I think. And but I was just, all up in my head, and I did not want to chat with anyone right then. And I kept saying, I just got this stupid plumbing problem, And he's like, well, what is it? And I'm like, don't worry about it, man. I'm dealing with it. And he just would not let it go. He kept saying, no, tell me what the problem is. And after a while, I was like, all right, okay, whatever. All right, I'll tell you. So I told the guy in detail what the problem was, and he walks away from me, and not far at all. He picks up this part, brings it back to me, hands it to me, and tells me exactly how to put it in, and he walks away. And I'm standing there stunned looking at this, like, oh my God, I think this will work. And at the same moment as he's starting to walk away, my wife walks up and goes, who was that? And I'm like, you will not believe this. That guy just gave me the part I think I need and told me how to put it in. She said, did you thank him? And I said, I think I did. And I'm like, but I'm going to make sure I did. So I'm going to go find him and I'm going to thank him. So he had just turned a corner down to the next aisle. So I walked down there real quick to find him and thank him. And he was not there. And I looked all through the plumbing department, and then I looked through, the store. I'm not going to say I went through. It was a Menards. I'm not going to say I went through the whole Menards. It's a huge store, but I looked pretty hard for this guy, and I thought, well, I'll run into him, at some point, when we're doing the rest of our shopping. Never did. Never saw the guy again, and I, put it in, worked perfect. Couldn't believe it. This guy just came up, insisted on solving my problem, solved my problem, and walked away. It's just crazy. So, I right after that happened, I was like, I think that was somehow angelic. Of all the weird things, it involves a toilet, but I mean, it absolutely felt like that was divine in some way.
Do you feel like both of these stories were you being tested?
The first one, definitely. The second one, I don't know about tested. I think that was just a gift. That was absolutely just, just divine intervention in some way. It's crazy. I know people, want divine intervention for such more serious things, but I mean, I was really hurting and stressed at the time,
Right.
so,
I,
but
I get it. I get it. As a man, there's certain things it's like, I should be able to do this. I'm the man of the house. And
right. I mean, my dad, every time I talk to people, who know how to do everything, like, yeah, my dad used to, do this, or he taught me. It's like, my dad didn't teach me much, I mean, he knew a lot of the stuff. He just didn't take the time to show me anything. And,
I feel that. I feel that
yeah,
in my core. I had
yeah,
the same thing.
yeah. So, yeah. So and it doesn't help that my father-in-law is absolutely a genius who could do all this stuff. He's an old West Virginia guy who, they did everything, themselves back then. And he can do anything. But they were in West Virginia at the time. They have a house in West Virginia, and they were living there. And so he wasn't able to help me. But it was, yeah, it was a weird thing.
Yeah. Well, Tim, I tell you what, I've really, really enjoyed this conversation.
I have to.
I'm going to show your book one more time.
Yeah, available on Amazon. Signed copies you can get through me. Just message me or whatever, and I can.
Can you see the Bigfoot? And I don't like using it, but the answers are in the back.
That's right.
He does help you out, but I'm not going to show any more because you want to put this out for people to look at. And I mean, if you want, you own it. You can rip the answers out so nobody else knows the answers. I mean,
yeah, good.
And if you got little kids and you just need a break, you give them the book without the answers in it and say, look for the 7 Bigfoot in this picture, and there's only one. I mean, that you're gonna get plenty of time to do the dishes or whatever.
Absolutely, that's brilliant. That's a marketing point there. I'm going to use that.
Right. I expect you to use that
I will.
at Ohio Bigfoot Jamboree, which you're going to be there.
Absolutely.
It's October 4th, 2024, Ada, Ohio. I will be there. I'm going to come up and I might give you a hug.
Please do. Please do. Make it awkward. Make it real long. Make it awkward. Maybe say something like, this feels so right. This feels so right. Just make it awkward. Yeah.
Everybody heard that. So when it happens, I don't want any charges pressed on me, okay?
That's right.
All right, Tim, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you and how they can get a hold of you to purchase, 20 or 30 paintings, whatever.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you go to Facebook to t.w.williams Fine Arts, you can find me there. That's my artist page. And if you go to Instagram, you can go to Timothy_Wayne_Williams_. It's kind of long. But if you do that, you can find me on Instagram. I am on X, but I I'm old, so I haven't figured out X real well, so I don't post on there a lot. So,
I'm
and
the
I,
same
like we
way.
talked earlier,
I'm
man, I haven't even touched TikTok. I started to sign up, and then I'm like, I don't know, man. But I need to do that. But,
yeah, because if you go on TikTok and sign up for an account, you can come into my live anytime you want. You've got an open invitation,
oh,
and
sweet.
you can pitch your book and whatever. Because I've got it right here. I can show everybody when you come in. But
Awesome.
I will post all your links in the show description, so nobody has to remember all that.
Mhm.
And like I said, Tim, great interview. I hope sometime maybe you'll come back.
Oh, I would love to anytime. I appreciate it, John. I really do.
All right, man. I will talk to you later.
All right. Thank Becca again for me.
I will.
All right. Take care.
Man, that's it for tonight. I'd like to thank Timothy Wayne Williams for coming on the show. And if you have a paranormal encounter you'd like to share, you can email me at mythsandmullets@gmail.com. Good night, everybody.
Cause girl, we're rolling like a freight train. Cause what you make me feel is